Hey YouTube, this is Brian here. This is going to be my top 10 guitar solo songs from an emotional and sentimental point of view. This isn't really my opinion on what the best songs from a guitar standpoint ever are. That would be way too hard, for someone like me with limited experience, only 10 years or so on the instrument. Um, for someone like me to figure that out, I think you need a little bit more experience. But these are my personal favorites from what I've gone through in my lifetime and the memories that I have, the life experience that I have. These are my favorite guitar solo songs and the songs that mean the most to me, I think also. Let's get to the video. Number one on here is going to be Maggot Brain. This is a really kind of dark and a little bit depressing song, actually, by the band Funkadelic. Usually their songs are a little bit more kind of like a Bee Gees style, like groovy kind of thing, but they're more like acid funk. Funkadelic is really hard to compare to anybody else because they have one of the most unique and weird, unidentifiable sounds, I think, of any 70s band. But their guitar player, Eddie Hazel, was told when recording this song in studio, he was told that he should imagine that somebody important to him, like his mother or his aunt, had actually died, and he should play a solo and like try to like bleed the emotion of that pain through his guitar. And well, God, what a horrific thing to tell somebody to do. That's gotta hurt. Anyways, yeah, Eddie Hazel had a lot of comparability, I think, to Jimi Hendrix, in that he had a lot of personal issues and he didn't live as long as he could. He was incredibly talented, um, and he had really emotional guitar tones. I think that Eddie Hazel's one of the more underlooked guitar players in rock and roll or electric guitar history in general. Number two on this list is going to be Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. I don't see how I could pick any other song besides this. I mean, the live version is even better than the studio version, you know? It gets more filled out with improvisations and lengthened solos, and I think that the crowd energy and the lighting, it adds to it, and I think that it only makes this song better. And the song on its own, when you're just listening to it on a CD, is enough. It creates an atmosphere. It really weaves its own universe, you know. Number three on this list is going to be Santeria by Sublime. This is one of the shorter songs on the list in a length-wise capacity. It's only about 15 to 20 seconds, if that. And it's not really a rock song as much as like a reggae type song or a ska song. But I think it's one of the best guitar solos from the 1990s. Considering how simple most alternative rock solos tend to be, they tend to be like just heavy distortion and like one note style playing or power chords or something. It's not like Nirvana's solos were blowing anyone's minds. Um, Nevertheless, though, this was an amazing solo, I think, on an acoustic guitar. And it really sounds like he's playing from the heart, and that he's really, you get the feeling he's improvising. I mean, there's no way of knowing completely, but you can tell when someone's connected to their instrument and when what they're playing is coming right out of them. And I felt that with Sublime's guitar player in that song. If it was Brad playing or if it was another band member, I apologize. I don't really know, to be honest with you. But yeah, that was an awesome song, and I actually have a cover of it down below on my channel if you want to check it out. Number four on here, we're gonna go to something a little bit more heavy, which is Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth. This is one of the heavier bands of the early 90s. I think that, we started getting bands like Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and, there's a lot more. It's just Symphony of Destruction, I think, was one of the earlier ones to really hit the charts and to really have that killer solo, and just to have that traditional construction. I think that this song really built the archetype for what a heavy metal song should be. I think that Megadeth accomplished more here than they might have known. Anyways, number 5 on here is going to be White Room by Cream. I think this is one of their better original compositions. Because a lot of their songs were old blues covers, or um, they didn't really write most of their shit. I think, like Crossroads, wasn't that by Robert Johnson? Um, anyways, I think that this was probably one of the best things that they actually wrote themselves. Number 6 on my list is going to be, actually, incidentally, a cover. It's going to be Stevie Ray Vaughan, though, covering Jimi Hendrix's classic Little Wing. And as you can imagine, for a song like Little Wing that has such a tearjerker of a solo, this song really, it's just amazing. It's like if Stevie had played at Woodstock or something, how you would imagine that solo would be, how emotional it would be. Everyone in the crowd would be like drying their eyes off, to say the least. Um, but yeah, I think that Stevie's version of Little Wing, I like the live version a little bit more than the studio version, but both are good, and I think both are worth listening to. It was one of the later songs I think that he unfortunately got a chance to record, but it's definitely one of his best solos for sure. Number 8 on this list is going to be That Smell by Leonard Skinner. This is one of the more traditional classic rock songs that you'll hear on like FM radio, for example. Leonard Skinner is my favorite Southern rock band by a mile. I mean, I like the Outlaws, I like Marshall Tucker, and I like any other Southern rock band probably that you could name in there, but I think Leonard Skinner is definitely the one that combines hard rock with southern rock the best. And I always thought that this song had a killer solo. This is one of the ones that made me want to get into electric guitar earlier on. I didn't really get into it till I was probably um, I would say like 13, 14 at latest. But I would say that this is one of the earlier songs I heard as like an 8-year-old that really made me want to get into those type of instrumental paths. Number one on here, or sorry, another one on here is what I meant to say. Is a Steve Vai solo, and it's called For the Love of God. If you haven't heard Steve Vai, well, first, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding, of course. But if you haven't heard Steve Vai, imagine kind of like that kind of Aerosmith hair, like that Steven Tyler, like frizzed out hair, and then like a headband, and he's playing some weird shaped tie-dyed guitar. But yeah, Steve Vai actually has his own lineup of guitars, and they're meant for shredding, and they do a great job at it. I actually started, I think, on like a budget version of like a Ibanez, I think, which I think he's played too. Um, okay, let's get to the next entry on the list, number 9, which is going to be Voodoo Child Slight Return by Jimi Hendrix and the Jimi Hendrix Experience. This is one of the earlier solos that I learned to play on guitar when I got an electric guitar and wasn't just playing, like I've said before, like a 5-stringed, like nylon string guitar that was out of tune and had like a hole in the side, and shit like that. Like once I got my first real guitar and like an amp and shit, and I started actually managing to get a decent sound, at least for my experience level. This was one of the first songs that I really wanted to learn how to play because I could hear that, it was like based on like an E minor chord, and it was also based on like a pentatonic thing up past the octave. And so this would be some really important stuff to learn. And I actually am wanting more and more progressively now as I talk about it to actually upload a cover of that. I have an amp, I have an electric guitar, so it's not like it's beyond the realm of possibility. But yeah, maybe as the new year approaches, we'll upload one in honor of Jimmy and all he contributed to music. Stevie also did an amazing cover of Voodoo Child. Um, let's get to number 10 on here, which is a song that's downright famous for its live performances, which is Green Grass and High Tides by the Outlaws. I think even The Simpsons in one episode made a reference to how long and excessively lengthy these performances of the song can sometimes get. But yeah, I've never wanted to turn it off when I've actually put it on, and I've put on the 20-minute version numerous times. I mean, some songs are just like that. I mean, it's kind of like how you wouldn't really want to turn off a classical music performance. I mean, unless you just don't like classical music, I guess. But if you are a fan actually and you like classical music, I doubt that you'd really want to turn off Chopin in the middle of like a symphony. That would be kind of ridiculous. It wouldn't make much sense, and it wouldn't really be something a fan would do. And so, why would people turn off a 20-minute performance of Greengrass and High Tides? I think the Outlaws made every minute of this song worth listening to. And honorable mentions go out to Quicksilver Messenger Service. Have some of the best live performances like at Winterland in the 1970s. Neil Young was also fantastic live, though this isn't really a countdown of live songs, more so guitar solo songs. Uh, my favorite guitar solo songs, I guess. Um, yeah, thank you for watching, and feel free to respond with some things that you think I may have missed, or um, just anything like that. Contribute your own lists and responses either via PM or in the comments. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, yeah, I love you guys. I'm out.